Hello, I'm Jody Wolf. You're watching Expoz, November 28, 2015, 2:13 a.m. Birmingham. Topic: part man, part machine. Are they ready now? And I have a story in a story that gets you back to that point, and why is very important. Um, so the drive simply to be first and not last. Remember when Russians said we're going to put a man on the moon? Well, Kennedy said, "Oh no, we got to be first." So we were first, and on and on and on. Americans feel that way, constantly feel that way, and if it wasn't for the knowledge of where I'm going now, we still wouldn't be on the moon. So Adolf Hitler he really thought this, that there used to be a super race of special people who lived in the mountains in the valleys of Austria. Hitler was from Austria. Hitler brought together all the super minds he could find to build him, Hitler, a super race. And before I move on, I want to say that Hitler was a Jew. The Jews were and still are in the top 90% of the smartest people alive today. So why did Hitler try to wipe out the Jews? That was insane. But there are more reasons given, so bear with me. It is from myself. I'm not sure Hitler included God, nor even gave God a thought during the process of him doing what he did and why he killed so many people. And specifically, why him as a Jew, why did he go after the Jews? I have what I think may be part of an answer way down the list. If I ever tell you it's going to be 2 or 3 more minutes, don't pay any attention to that. So there are many reasons given, and as for myself, I'm not really sure Hitler included God, as I said. Had he included God, then Hitler would have probably, I don't know, he may have gone ahead and proceeded, but as punishment to the Jews, it's some things they did thousands of years earlier. The Jews were made available to Hitler. And this is why he killed them. It was a punishment. And not to annihilate them, but to, a lot of them were destroyed. And God did withdraw. He didn't, well, you know where I'm going there. So, in Exodus, when Moses was called by God, go and bring my people out of bondage, the reason why they first went in to part bondage, and that's Exodus 1, verse 1, a new king, oppressor, saw the growing numbers of the Israelites, which were enormous. And verse 15 of chapter 1, Pharaoh commands the killing of the Hebrew male children. This wasn't, and don't confuse it with the time of Jesus when they sent out to told the wise men, let us know where he is that we may go worship him. This is not that time, guys. But also remember Moses in Exodus, Moses was called by God to go and bring my people out of bondage. And the reason why they were put into bondage was, again, punishment. But they didn't kill them. They were just as slaves. So here they are. Moses takes them out. And he was a Jew, but he was one of those that was ordered killed. And so his mother slipped him in the water in a basket, and down the river, the daughter of the Pharaoh saw the baby and took the baby, Moses, and raised him as her own. And he was in a hierarchy there. And so we remember that. And I'm going a little bit slower than I wanted to. But anyway, he killed. When he saw some Jews being beaten, then he lost it. He did, and he killed. He killed, and when he killed, he knew he had to flee. And he knew he could never return, or they would kill him. Even though he looked just like them, they didn't know he was a Jew. But that was almost taboo, to kill the ones who watched over the slaves and kept them busy. So they went after Moses, but Moses took off, and he was gone for a very long time, about 60 years in time. So then the Pharaoh's daughter, of course, finds him. Here I'm backing up again. Raises him. Well, when he's when he's a long way off, he left Egypt. He was called up by a voice that called him and said, I need to talk to you. And he looks around, all he see was a burning bush. God was speaking to him through the burning bush. And it took him a while to, grasp that, but that's what happened. So Moses came back, set my people free, and finally the Pharaoh did. So here they are, Moses carrying up to 3 million Jews throughout Egypt and into 40 years of wandering. And the wandering was because of their sin in that time. They sinned all along the route. And what got them the most was when Moses went up on the mountain to meet God to receive the 10 Commandments, he was gone a while, 30 or 40 days, I kind of forget. But when he came down, the Jews had taken the gold of a lot of the people and made a golden calf or a golden bull. And they worshiped this bull, not God. So here you have a God that feeds you every day. Manna from heaven fell every morning early. So every morning they'd wake up and the food's on the ground. It's everywhere. And they had a cloud that covered them by day for 40 years, that they didn't travel in sweat and was burning up. They were comfortable. At night, they were led by a fire that kept them warm. Their clothing never wore out. There never was sickness among the Jews for the entire 40 years. Even their clothing, they didn't have to run down to a big department store and buy clothing. Their clothing didn't even wear out, nor did one animal die. But yet, with all that, they still build the bull and they worship it. And when Moses came down, he saw a whole lot of naked people, men and women, dancing, partying, and having giant orgies. And nevertheless, that was kind of a pop the cork point for God, I'm sure. But in one case where judgments were adding up, that the Jews would fall. That's just one example. So I'm gonna stop here, and I gotta pick up because I'm at the 10-minute mark, and I'll see if I can get the rest of it in the next blog, Jody Wolf Expoz.